Hi, welcome to Hot Topics Live podcast. I'm Kia, and I have an amazing show for you today. But first, I want to remind you that this is your reminder that you are amazing and you deserve to be living the absolute best life for you. And we're going to try to help you do that today with our great guest. Next to me, I have my number one, my first co host ever, Gloria Goldberg. Hey, girl.
Hey, how are you, Kia? I'm so happy again here. This is like my second house.
yes. Yes, right?
Yeah, I'm so happy. Every time you invite me, I always say yes. It have to be something that major that I cannot come, but I always gonna say yes.
Well, you know what? Everyone always tells me that they're always happy when to see you back. So,
Okay, that's awesome.
so I'm so happy you're here. Oh my gosh. So this guest is one that you introduced me to, and I'm so excited to have this guest today. Right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so a lot of people may not know this about me, but I am absolutely obsessed with tarot and oracle readings and all of that. Now, I don't know a lot about astrology, and I don't actually follow much about it, but a lot of people I know do. And it's interesting because a lot of the things seem legit. So for me, I lean more into tarot and I love oracle readings. I'm actually quite intuitive myself. So when you said to me that there was a guest who actually was very intuitive and who reads tarot, I was like, oh my God, I have to meet him. Right? Like, I want to have him on the show. Hi, George. Hi, Teresa. Hey, girl. Hey. That's right. Tarot is how we met. So I love it. I literally am obsessed. I can't get enough. So how did you meet him,
Well,
Gloria?
I met him through a class that we did from Enneagramma. Enneagramma is
Mm.
the study of the types of different personalities. So we
Oh.
was a huge group, and I remember I saw him, and I like, oh, I kind of like this guy to talk to him, because when he present himself and the things that he knows in the chat, I said, wow, this guy, I don't know, this guy knows a lot. So we created another group, like a WhatsApp group, and he was the one who said, "Let's create a WhatsApp group." And that group was created, but not everybody engaged. You know that when people create WhatsApp group, they don't get engaged for a long because it's too much. So we keep in touch, and he told me everything what he do, and I said, you know what, I want to interview you in my show, and also, I want to invite you to Hot Topics, the podcast, because I know Kia loved tarot, and you read me many times, and you are very good at it. And you always told me that you enjoy these groups of tarot, and you are into too much into that. And when Gonzalo told me that he reads when he since he's 13 years old, and his mother read the tarot for all her life, so he have that, and I got more like, oh, this guy, he knows because he's been cultivating this for a long
Mhm.
time.
Wow, like second generation at least. I'm
Yes,
sure. That's
yes.
amazing. My kids have an affinity for it too. I always tell my little one likes to pull cards with me. The older one always says, "Mom, give me a reading." But he would be very good. I always tell him, "Why don't you start a YouTube channel reading for teenagers, Leo?" He's just like,
Right.
"Nah, Mom, I just want to fight." He's the one who does kung fu all the time, so he's always fighting. But but I love it. I'm super obsessed with it. And Gonzalo, our guest, is his name is Gonzalo, and he is 29 years old. He lives in Chile, and he is not only a tarot reader. That's not it. He's also an astrologer, a holistic therapist, and a channel. So we'll get into more about everything that is for anyone who doesn't know or who's not familiar. And for anyone who has never had a tarot reading and doesn't know much about it, this is an episode for you if you're curious, so that you can know what to expect and what you should prepare for when you're going to have your first reading. Because I think you should, even if you do it just for fun, I think you should have the experience. So,
Yes.
um, Shall we bring him on, Gloria?
Of course, I can't wait to hear his story.
Yeah, let's do it. Hi,
Hello there.
welcome.
Hello.
Hi. So, welcome to
Thank you
Hot
very
Topics
much.
Live. So, Gonzalo,
Thank
tell
you.
me, you started reading tarot at 13 years old. What prompted that?
That's true. um, like Gloria said before, my mother uh, is a very good tarot reader. And since I was little, I saw her doing these magic tricks,
Mm.
telling these stories from these um, cards. And since I have memory, I've loved the cards. So at age of 13, I began studying because I was curious and I needed uh,
Mm.
like salvavidas,
A tool,
um,
A
like a tool,
divination tool.
like yeah,
herramienta, tool.
um, s-
Like
yeah,
lifesaver.
like
It was a lifesaver for him.
yes, thank you. So from there, I've been studying. Um, Tarot is my strong tool, uh, apart from the ones you told, and I love it. I have the two groups of students. I'm writing a book of tarot, and here I am, lifesaver. Thank you,
Lifesaver, yes.
Jorge. Yeah, so I'm the second generation. My grandmother was very intuitive, but never developed these kind of abilities. But I am.
So, tell me, how did you learn to did you just get the cards out? Did you watch your mom? How was the process of learning to understand the cards and their meanings? What was that for you?
It's it it's been a long story because my mother gave me her tarot book of
Mm.
the Mythic Tarot, which is based on the Greek mythology,
Mhm.
and I start reading and reading other books, and I watch her, and I was so confused because what she was interpreting was not the exact meaning of the card that
Mhm.
was in the book. So I was very confused. Later on, I comprehend that she was channeling more than interpreting the exact meaning of the cards. Um, and that was a turn for me. Now I use three tarot decks, all of them very different. There's the Mythic Tarot, that is my first one. There is the Osho Tarot, the Zen Tarot, and the Marseille Tarot. And they are three very different tarots, and every one of them has some point to tell you. So it it's been a journey, a very fun one. Actually, I've started reading here in Elqui Valley. I'm from the Elqui Valley in the Chilean Andes. So I apologize for my internet. I'm English, but having connection here is quite a miracle
Mm.
because I'm at the top of the hill.
You're doing fine with your English. Perfect.
Thank you very much. So I've started reading in the plaza, the plaza, and and I love it. I think it's something that I had for, I don't know, I don't know, but it's
Do you
been a long time.
Do you know what I think is interesting, right? You said that your mom was interpreting the cards differently than the actual images on the cards. So, for people who don't know, tarot cards have artwork on the front, and the artwork is different, or oracle cards, they have different artwork on the front. And these images are what help the person who's reading the tarot kind of get the story for you. So it's kind of like hearing a
Absolutely.
story that's pertinent to your life. It can either be predictive, or it can be something that helps you on your journey, to be informative in a way. So there's
Yes.
lots of different reasons why people get tarot read. We'll get into that later. But for now, we if you look at the images, there is also a book that comes along with it that will explain the meaning of the cards. Now, a lot of people don't use the book, and that's kind of what we were talking about with Gonzalo's mom, right? Looking at the images and then receiving message as in a channel. So, with that backstory, my next question is, what is a channel? Now, we've had different types of channeling on this show already. So you can look at old episodes of Hot Topics Live, or listen to the podcast in the podcast version, anywhere you listen to podcasts, and you can hear some of the different types of channeling we've had on the show. But I'm interested to know what you would define being a channel is, Gonzalo.
Thank you for your question. I love to talk about it. Um, I I understand channeling as a way, an ability, and that we all have. It's not something that you acquire, you learn. It's kind of a sense, seeing, smelling. Well, anyway, and it's the ability to connect to the knowledge of the universe. There's a spiritual truth that says that we all live in one unity. You can call it God, universe, the all. There are many ways of calling it. So if we are all one and the same, there's no difference between we, three of us talking right now, and every one of us, and every other person or being in any other space and time. It's what is called the fifth dimension. Um, I don't know how many dimensions there are, but this is the one that we can connect. So channeling for me is um, to make a difference between what I hear in my mind is my thoughts, or it's something else. And when you can make that difference, that's all. That's all. You can ask everything you want. Now, you only can receive what you are capable of processing. So in that case, there's a developing of the ability, but it's not that the developing of the listening. If not it's more that of
Interpretation.
the processing, the interpretation. Yeah. So in the case of the cards, as you very well said, the images are very different. Okay, here we have two that are more of a kind, but if you have this, that is the Osho Zen, is completely different. So the illustrations talk to you, and that takes you out of the more mental interpretation. There's even a tarot that is more like the English deck that only has the number and the el palo. How do you say?
Palo,
Elemento.
stick, elemento, madera, elemento, element.
No, como corazones, the hearts, the
Oh, they have
the
hearts. They have
spears.
symbols. Symbols.
Well, whatever. Yeah. Um, so the tarot, the astrology, the runes,
The pocket cards.
yeah, the four types of pocket cards. In one pocket cards, I hearts, diamonds,
Diamonds.
okay,
The symbols.
Symbols.
the symbols. So tarot, astrology, runes, meditation, they are all oracles. They are tools that can help us to channel. And that's the beauty of it. You are not really saying something that that you know. At a certain level it is, but it's something that is going through you, and that's magic. That's the magic trick, I think.
Wow. What do you think about that, Gloria?
I would like to try that because like he said, we have ability for that. Some more stronger than other ones, but it will be so. I think I have that, but I don't know the difference. But now that he explained the right way, that is between the thought is something coming through, and you can give the message. I think I get that a lot, but I didn't understand what it was.
So downloads is what
Download.
we call them. So if you're a religious person, which I'm not particularly religious, I'm more spiritual, I would say. But if you were a religious person, this would be like when you communicate with God,
Exactly.
right? And
Yes.
you get messages from God and you hear them in your head, and you know you can differentiate the fact that it's not you. It's something else coming in and giving you this sort of knowledge or awareness or thought or suggestion, right? And a lot of people who are religious feel that this is God. Now, if you are not considering yourself a religious person, this could be determined as source or the universe or whatever you want to call it. But this is knowledge that is being downloaded, just like you're the computer. So, for all of my conspiracy theorists and living in the matrix with me, where you're the computer and you are actually receiving information from a higher source of energy from somewhere, and this information is helping you if you receive it. And like Gonzalo said, you will receive what you're capable of processing. Many times people who receive things they're not capable of processing, this can cause a mental instability. Right.
Yes.
So I mean, we receive what we can handle. Just like some people say that they can, they can see spirits and stuff like that. For me, I can't handle that. I'm a sensitive person. I don't want to see spirits. Okay. I don't want to see dead people.
I don't want
I
to.
don't want to
I don't
see
want
any
to.
of that. So I don't. You know what I mean? Sometimes I feel weird energy and I'm like, I don't want to see anything. And I always say, this is my joke, I always say out loud, speak to me through the cards. If you have a message for me, tell me through my decks. Okay, just tell me which deck to get. I'll grab it because I have many, many, many decks, right? And then I'll do a reading for myself. And a lot of people think you can't read for yourself, which brings me to my next question. But I feel like I read better for myself than anyone reads for me. So what do you think about
That's
that,
weird.
Gonzalo? You think it's weird?
Yeah, I think for me, reading the cards, it's the most difficult thing to do with cards, uh, because as I know the meaning of the cards, it's like I don't have to explain it to another person.
Mhm.
Okay, so I don't process more. I don't elaborate the meaning of the card. So I keep to myself a very little portion of the meaning that of the message that is being told. So I think that's one ability, then a special ability. and and for the tarot readers that I've known, it's the same that I'm telling you. That's a hard one.
Yeah.
So great for you. That's a great tool. For me, what works better is um, act like I am reading to someone else,
Mhm.
or just channeling and ask things and listening the answers. And linking to what you said before about religion and spirituality, I think they are the same.
Mm.
I think maybe religion is more,
Structure.
I don't
Structure.
know, structure. Thank you. But spirituality, it's also structure. There are laws, there are ways, there is discipline. Um,
Yes.
and after all, I believe that when we talk about God, even if you are Jew, um, Muslim, or Christian, we are all talking about the same thing.
Mhm.
We just call it the different way. But I truly believe we are experience God in the same way, but we talk about it in a different way.
I would agree with that too.
Yes.
So I'm very interested in, so your mom, obviously, when she was reading the cards, she was channeling, right? She
Yeah.
was seeing that, so we all could look at this artwork and see the same thing. But when you're channeling, your intuition, I think, is more active, and you see maybe something else in the imagery of the cards, which delivers a different message. So how do you feel like this really helps the reader, um, for the person they're reading for?
Yeah, I think the tarot that you choose, it's fundamental. Um, you need to have an affinity with the symbols, the illustrations, because when you are learning, you don't know the meaning of every of the 78 cards. You can't
Mhm.
remember them all.
Right.
So you need to use some help, and the illustration are that help. So the choosing of the tarot deck is fundamental, not only for the beginners, but for the people that is on the road. Um, my mother channel through the images.
Mhm.
I often ask her about what did mean the Eight of Wands, and she was very confused and even ashamed because she couldn't give me a straight answer like in the books. But if she read the Eight of Wands in the context of a reading, she would tell you something far profound that the meaning that is in the book. So there is one thing that is the deck and the booklet that could be in the deck, because not every deck has a book that explains the illustrations.
Mhm.
So that's one part, and the other is a book about tarot, like beyond the illustration, the type of the tarot. And personally, I found that most illustrative, because when you go through that, you can understand every other tarot independent of the illustration. But yeah, the images are fundamental. You have to find an affinity. They need to talk to you. So, for example, the mythic tarot, for the ones that are um, like the astrology, it's more helpful because you have one planet that is, I don't know, Pluto, which is Hades, which is the 13 arcana, which is the dead. It's called the dead. So there you have some crossing. Or if you are more oriental, like more Zen, the Osho Tarot is perfect for you. So there a lot of finding, a lot of Googling.
Wow, that's so interesting. So, if I wanted to get a reading from you, how would I
Please,
pre-
I would be glad.
That's so gonna happen. But
I
hold on.
know.
That's
Please,
so
let's
happening.
make that happen.
But seriously, like, how would I prepare actually? How will I prepare for my reading?
um, there are people that that comes to the reading with some specific questions. Okay, so I want to know about work, love, and health. That's the big three. And that's good. That's completely fine. But in my experience, I find better to go with a more open perspective. Like, let's see what messages I have to receive. So then I will offer a general reading that it's a reading of five fundamental pillars of our personality. And if you have more questions, then you can ask them. But general, general speaking, there are no more questions um, after that general reading. So I would um, consult a general reading more than go with a specific question, because I can be stuck with something that is not the central theme in my drama.
Hmm.
And if I'm stuck with that, I can lose a lot of information that could help me going through it.
That's the way I would do a tarot reading. I would not go and ask, what is gonna be my future? No, what is the message today? What is the message today? Tell me.
Yeah.
But what
Um,
about but
I
what about
could.
people but what about people who, who really want to know about maybe their love life? Would you say, do you have a specific question about it, or just say what's going on in my love life in general?
You can do both.
Mm,
I generally do both.
mhm.
If someone comes with a very specific question, I would put that question in a broader perspective. So there are different types of tiradas, readings that you could use according to the necessity of the client, the consultant. But you can okay, what you can't do with tarot is answering yes or no questions. That's not possible. I mean, you could, if you, after the reading, the interpretation that you're doing, you can say, okay, this is more like a no, or yes, this is more like a yes. But there is no card that says yes or no. For that, I would recommend the pendulum. I don't know how it's
The
called.
pendulum.
It's a pendulum. Yeah, that's it.
Pendulum. That's better for that kind of questions, and it's very accurate. I must say. Um,
We gotta
and
we gotta discuss that.
you and you please, and you, even if you can um, read the future, you can make an educated guess of what could happen. So if that person is obsessed with one people, and the tarot card says let it go, and the people don't want to let it go, you can accurately predict what's going to happen. A broken heart, a toxic relationship, you name it.
Very interesting. So, can you ask about a specific person? Is that what you mean? Like if I were to come and say, "Hey, I want to know about Gloria." Okay. What's going on in my relationship with Gloria? Can I do a reading for that? And if so, and it says, maybe you should not be friends with Gloria anymore, and I don't do it, well, then we're gonna see a Three of Swords moment or a heartbreaking moment. Is that my understanding
Um,
accurate?
yeah, totally. That's a hard one because most of people want to know about other people's feelings, thoughts, lives. Um, if that person that you're asking for is your, I don't know, your child, and your child is little, and you want to help him or her, that's okay. But personally, I don't feel comfortable interpret making interpretations of other lives. Like, okay, you and me, Kia, we are in a tarot reading, and you ask for something about Gloria. For me, ethically, it would be like I like the Gloria in that case is not giving me her permission to entering to reading her.
Mhm.
So yes, you absolutely can, but there's a moral thing going on there.
It's like spying.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you want to know what your partner feels. Like go and ask him. Don't ask me. If you can't ask your partner what he's feeling, then what are you doing together? Like
Mhm.
that's the answer.
Now, the question can be maybe a woman that wants to know if some person that having a relationship that is not quite, if that relation is gonna continue, or or it's gonna finish, or is beneficial for her, or is gonna finish.
Okay. In that case, it's when the holistic therapy part enter the rooms,
Kick in.
kick in, right? Because you can answer that question without the cards
Mhm.
most of time. If there are some ingredients in the relationship, um I would say I recommend you to look at these themes and ask yourself if you are comfortable with that kind of relationship, if you really want to keep it, or if you want to break out. But yes, you can almost answer everything you want to ask. It depends in what moves you to answer that question. If it's some anxiety, most probably the cards are gonna tell you go and work on your anxiety. on your insecurities, on your emotional communication, on your intimacy with your partner. And surely in the future cards, because there are different positions, there's context, what's going on now, and what could happen. So in that pillar, you probably find that this relationship is not going nowhere.
Mhm.
But
So
not, you don't know the cards to know that.
so that brings me to another question, because you said what could happen. So can we talk about what that means? Why isn't it what will happen?
Well, in tarot, there's a discussion within the religion and spirituality as well about free will and destiny. So there are many people that don't ask to the tarot because they think it's satanism. Like you can't know what will happen because only God knows that. And there are other people that only want to know what will happen.
Mhm.
And if you don't tell them what will happen, they don't want the reading. So we have these two poles. I believe in fate and destiny. I believe that free will it's part of that. I believe that if I now decide that I want to stay here, or if I want to run to the highway and being struck by a car, you don't know what. It's not what is it right, but it's like there was a plan, some kind of plan, some kind of bigger plan. So I think the tarot, channeling, and every other oracle, astrology as well. That astrology is kind of more mathematical, and you say there's going to be an eclipse, and I don't know. But anyway, you always have the free to choose what you want, and therefore what I like to think is that the free will is to flow with life. Like it doesn't matter that much what I choose now, because either I choose A or B, that's my destiny. That's what it's gonna happen anyway. So that gives me some relief. Like it doesn't matter that much what I choose to do, because there is a loving future for me anyway.
So, but doesn't that
I don't know
negate?
if I respond your question.
You did,
Sorry.
but what you're saying, doesn't that negate free will? If it's sort of like a manifest destiny that awaits for us anyway, doesn't that, it then it means none of our choices really matter, right?
What I'm trying to say, which is an interpretation from what I wrote and what I feel, is that in this unity, all that will happen has already happened.
Hmm.
So there is no real difference between choosing A or B. In that case, we, as human incarnated, we can choose different paths, and we can, and we will experience different things. But at the end, this is so complex because, like in the Matrix example, like if we were in the Matrix, you can run an infinite simulations. So you, in particular, in different simulations, you can choose A, B, C, you name it. And that same happen in the different plans that coexist in this universe. So I think that the Matrix theory is perfectly possible. I personally don't want to believe that because I don't want to see. I don't want to be like a Sims or like a playable character. But I think that's a very good metaphor for it because, like, we now incarnated, we feel our personal importance, but it's the same in other plans that are occurring in the parallel. Say you are choosing A, there are other version of you that is choosing B, and it doesn't matter. In that case, your free will it's overestimated, I think.
It's an illusion, just like time.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's completely real. It's completely real. But if you some kind of submit to the idea that there is a very much complex reality, then what I choose is it should be based on what I want, what I desire.
Oh, I love
More
that.
that I'm gonna change the world, the universe. No, it's what I want, what I want to experience now in this life, in this Matrix simulation.
I love
So we
that.
do have free will, but that doesn't matter, I think.
Well, I
That's
love that perspective.
Yes. What I understand about free will is like you do whatever you want. But my other question is that it gets complicated a little bit. Like, okay, when you're born with like your destiny. Everything what is gonna happen to you is already writing down. But also they said that you can write that out and change the path or change your journey. What do you think about that, Gonzalo?
I'm glad you asked what I think because I don't
Right.
know nothing.
Me either.
This is what I'm saying can be
Nobody knows.
anything.
Nobody knows anything.
Nobody knows. There is a book of Enneagram that talks about 9 laws of the reality. And in one of those laws, there is the free will. It talks about free will and destiny. And it says that you actually can do what you want, write your own story. And that is true. You can go again, A or B. But in a broader way, if you look at like in a more with more perspective, you're gonna say with the ingredients that that person had in that moment of time, in that family, in that culture, in that place, there is a lot of possibilities that that person chooses that kind of path. So I do believe that we are as free at as our material environment, cultural environment allows us. So I, even if I wanted to, I've I'm South American. I have an accent. I have a skin color. I can change that, even if I want to, or even if I change my color skin, that doesn't change my past. So there are a lot of things that are determined. Like we are in a three-dimensional space dimension, and that has some rules. In other dimensions, you can actually do whatever, go whatever, be whatever. But now we are submitted voluntarily. That's We're voluntarily here living this life, even with the most traumatic events that had happened to us. So in some way, our soul choose to live what we have lived. I don't say that we are guilty for what has happened to us. It's the other way around. We, as a soul, have the knowledge, the certainty that we have the strength and there's a mission that we really can go through it. So that what we decide to live, because we can, and the universe needs it in some way. And that's it's mind-blowing for me. There is it is something that I am continually processing, because I fight with that idea so much, like believing that there are some people, like, I don't know, they choose to being born in so terrible situations, and but I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't know. There's some material explanation, some materialistic explanation about capitalism, and but the spiritual explanation I can understand it. But it's what makes more sense for me, and what like of comfort me in any way. Like I having a hard time. Well, I can go through this hard time. There's some mission, there's some purpose. That's the word, purpose.
Purpose.
So I can.
So your purpose in life is to read tarot and be a channeler and an astrologer?
I don't know if it's that or being how do you say the people that cook cakes?
Baker.
A baker.
Baker. I'm between those two. I don't know what my purpose is. Now is to communicate what I've learned, what I feel, um, and to bring some message that some people can find real, and other people can find that is completely nonsense. But well,
You know, Kia, that Gonzalo, he just not only read the tarot, he just also do like a coaching. He's like a kind of coaching the person, and it's like a therapy with tarot and astrology. So he will follow you in your process with the tarot and the astrology, and he can like help you to find whatever you're looking for.
So that actually brings me to my next question, Gloria. I'm glad you mentioned that because, well, you are a holistic therapist and you mentioned that earlier. And I'm interested to know, well, I was interested to know how that weave together. And if you did weave those things together, the astrology, the channeling, the holistic therapy, and the tarot reading, into ways to help your clients. And I'd love to hear more about that.
Thank you for asking again. Um, I think these are different tools to aim for the same objective. What I think is to know ourselves as individuals, like incarnated person. I am different from you, and at the same time to comprehend that everything is one and the same. So it's like and how do you say, two-way maneuvers, like I'm going that way and this way to go to the same way, and these both ways have to work in a similar rhythm. So if you know yourself like an individual with a different personality from everyone else, you finally will be reaching the same perspective that I am completely different than you, but that makes you the same. And it's interesting issue right now in this globalized world, um, in which our individuality is often overestimated or underestimated. Like you are no one because there are 8,000 million people living in the world. You're no one. And on the other hand, you are unique and special.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're both are right. So I think we should go through them both. Um, so what I do in my therapy is, for one hand, helping you to understand um, what has happened to you. Why are you who you are? What is your family history? That's very important. Your cultural context, the material context, the time context. There's so many variables, and that's it's a part that I like very much because I have studied in university like 7 years of history and pedagogy. So I really like to help people to understand where are they living, when, and why are they. And astrology, tarot, particularly those two, they are excellent maps of the psyche, the personality, the universe. So if you come to me and you ask me, I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know if this work is for me, I don't feel so comfortable, we will work in several layers. So one is, what do you need right now? You need to work because you need money to live, but at the same time you don't want to work in this because you are losing your life in some way. So it's a multifocal approach, which is kind of malabarismo, no sé cómo se dice, cloning.
Jiggling, like a jiggling.
Yeah, jiggling with a lot of stuff. But well, that's life. Like we are all jiggling with a lot of stuff. There are some stuff that are more important or more urgent to address. So what I do is identifying what are the most urgent needs, and confront them, and always trying to lead the client, the consultant, to what they really want, and to meet what they really want and what they need and what they can do and what is their purpose. So it's very fun to work in that way and to be participant in that process.
So Gonzalo, so you can pull like a one card for Hot Topics?
Of course.
It's a great idea.
Choose one deck.
Kia, you know more that.
I will choose the Osho.
Very fine choice. Okay, so we shuffle a bit. They are already shuffled, but anyway. So I'm gonna tell you the process. I close my eyes, I put my hand in the deck, and I pick the card that I feel is like a little worm. Okay. The stranger. 5 of coins, pentacles. If you look at this card, there's a little boy and there's a lock. You can't appreciate it, but the lock is open to the chain, but the little boy doesn't know. So he believes that he's confined to this space, and what is beyond, that is everything, is the all, is not reachable. So what would be my interpretation is that this program will help a lot of people to understand that they are more free than they know. Like, maybe I can't become a billionaire because I want it, but I can free myself from a lot of restrictions that I put myself on, that I accept, that I believe that they are not obvious, they're not necessary. So this card is a very hard card, El Miserable, the miserable, like the one who can't appreciate his own value. So I think it's a hard one. Yeah, they're more free than they actually know. But it's a beautiful card, a very creative card, a card that moves some energy, that has impact in the material reality of the people. So this is not just things, words in the air, metaphysics speaking with no earth. No, this is gonna really help people to look beyond what their own limitations that they believe they're in. So I congratulate you. I celebrate you. I'm really thankful for being in this chapter.
Oh my God. That's
awesome.
amazing. That's amazing. That is the purpose of why we created Hot Topics. And I know you felt it too when he was explaining it, Gloria, because
Yes.
this is what we said when we created this show. And
Yes.
that is why I start the show with reminding everyone how amazing they are, and that the only limitations they have are the ones that they have themselves, that they put on themselves. So like you said, the lock on the gate is open, but the child doesn't know.
Doesn't
We have
know.
to let people know that the gate is open. You can go and be and do and have anything you want to have if you're willing to put in the work and if you can believe that you can. But a lot of people have oppressive thinking and they do it to themselves. So if we can help one person to realize that they are much more unlimited, much more limitless, and then they have previously thought, we've done our job here on Hot Topics Live. Thank you so much.
You save one, you save them all. You save yourself, you save we all.
Yes.
Beautiful.
So
Thank you.
thank you for having this space. I didn't knew it before Gloria introduced it, but I love it.
Oh, thank you. Well, I hope you'll come back because I have a million more questions for you, and I and I don't have enough time to ask them all. So we'll just have to have you
I'd be
come
glad.
back. It's awesome.
I'd be so glad.
Oh, wonderful. So I do have one more question for you, though. Really, do you have a YouTube channel? Where can we follow you, and how do we get readings from you?
I'm a millennial, so I work with Instagram.
Hi, Macarena. She's
Now I'm
Macarena.
thinking, yeah, she's my partner. I love you.
Oh, I love that.
I'm thinking on doing a YouTube channel, but now I'm on Instagram. Arroba. How do you say that?
At.
There.
Arroba Caballero de Bastos. There you have
Okay.
it.
So
Caballero de Bastos. I posted in Spanish because that's my public, that's my native tongue. But if you are an English speaker and you want a session, and you can understand what I said in this
we can understand
meeting,
you.
then you can write me and we can talk together.
So DM you.
Yeah, I think you're okay for English. You're fine for English. So you should open that thing already with English.
Don't get me started. I'll be like, you need a YouTube channel, you need TikTok, you need, I cannot stop coaching people. I'm a coach. I can't help it. So I would be like, you need a podcast.
Really?
You need,
Yes.
I'll have you set up
we
in
can
like a month.
we can do an exchange. We can trade our specialties.
Kia is my first coach. Mm-hmm. Kia was the one who put me on being a podcaster. Kia.
My number one.
Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa. So
I'm her student.
I need to repay this chain of favors because Gloria is helping me a lot. And if you help Gloria, I need to help you too.
Oh, I love that. You see, I love a global environment. Like I love how we had two different realities. We did not know each other existed, and we were going through our lives, just living our best lives and not knowing about the other. You're in Chile. I'm here in the beautiful Pacific Northwest of the United States. Gloria's in gorgeous Miami or close to it. And here we are having been living lives and then connected, and our timelines intersect. And here we are able to help each other and help others. And it's so beautiful. I love this magic. Whole global, unification thing. So anyways, and the power of technology, of course.
Yes.
But
yes.
I want to say thank you so much for being a guest on Hot Topics Live today. It has been an incredible pleasure to talk to you, to learn from you, and to experience your energy. Thank you so much.
Thank you both for inviting me, for accepting me. I'm incredibly glad for being here. So whenever you want, I'm at your disposal. I love to talk. So
oh, I appreciate you so much. And I see your partner put your Instagram in the chat, which is fantastic. So it's there as well. And so people can just copy it and go follow you and DM for bookings, right? Like if you are, a lot of our
Yeah.
audience is in Europe, actually. This is why I love a global unification.
Cool. Yes.
Because a lot of our audience is in Europe. Shout out to Europe everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so they, a lot of times English is one of the languages that they speak. And
Of
so
course.
probably many speak Spanish too. So DM if you want a reading, right? On Instagram.
Right.
That would be
Yes.
I
correct.
want to say
Please.
something before Gonzalo goes. Gonzalo, I'm so proud of you that you pull your all you have to be here and speak English. A lot of people will say, "No, I don't know if I can do it." But then I said to you, "You can do it," and here you are here. So congratulations.
Thank you so much, Gloria, for trusting me and giving me the confidence to be here. So
Oh,
I te debo esto a ti. Eh,
I feel emotional. I just look at all the love in this place.
of course.
I, I I would have it no other way. So definitely, look at
This is
that,
the
pushing through a limitation for the language barrier right now, real time, people, real
Real
time.
time. And he's in the south of South America, south, that people would think who's gonna speak English, and here it is
There you
from the
go.
mountains,
Beautiful,
from the
beautiful.
mountains, from the top of the hill.
top of the hill.
It's amazing. It has been so much fun, such a pleasure, so informative. I thank you from the bottom of my
Well,
heart. I'm going to put you in the green room. If you have time for a proper goodbye, we'll wrap up shortly and we'll be alone. If not, I completely
I do.
understand and we will reach out and connect again soon.
Thank you.
I'll wait you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
That was so great.
That was great.
That was so great. Oh, thanks for tuning in, you guys. Holly, special shout out to my girl.
Holly,
She
Holly.
is developing her intuition as well. So if you want a
Awesome.
reading from Holly, who is just becoming such an amazing reader herself, hit me up. Send a DM to Hot Topics Live Messenger on our Facebook page, and I will connect you with her. Her prices are very good too because she is developing. So
And
let me
say
know.
hi to the number one fan of us, Jorge.
Okay. Of course, our boy Jorge has turned
Jorge.
up as he always does. And I appreciate that. You are so loved. You already know that. I don't even have to say it by now. Always supporting the show. So
Thank you.
we appreciate you. Look, he turned up from YouTube now. Thank you. Okay. If you haven't followed us on YouTube, I am growing my subscribers. We're spreading out. We're blossoming. We already do fantastic on Facebook, but we're growing on YouTube now. So do me a favor if you're watching this and you've made it this far, go to YouTube, put in Hot Topics Live hashtag podcast. You'll find the channel, subscribe, set your notifications so you know when we're live, and then, join in and then have fun with us. So
Or
thanks
see
for
the
watching.
replay.
Yeah, or you can watch the replay anytime. I'm on TikTok now.
I think I need to go in that one.
I am on Gen X TikTok. Don't judge me. I love it. I told my son I'm watching old people TikTok, and he laughs. But I like it, and I'm putting Hot Topics, the podcast clips, up on TikTok. So go and follow at Creativity over there on TikTok, just like on my Instagram here. Let me put it up for you guys so you know what I'm talking about.
And
If
what
you're
do you do in
listening,
Kia? What do you do in TikTok right now? Like what exactly videos you put on?
so right now I'm just doing like little clips of Hot Topics, the podcast, the live video. Obviously, it's a video streaming platform. So I'm doing that. They're doing pretty good over there. And I will sometimes talk and do like little, I don't know, I'm learning the platform. It's cute and it's fun, and it has its own culture. So I'm getting a feel for the culture over there on TikTok, and I am starting to play with it. So that's what I'm doing for now, and it's growing slowly. It's growing slowly. George says you should try TikTok. Yeah, I've got some comments here, so I'm gonna put them up before we wrap up the show. But so yeah, George said try TikTok.
Rhonda.
Rhonda, sweetheart, when are you gonna come be a guest on Hot Topics Live? You know you're one of my favorite people ever.
Rhonda's your coach or singing singing
No,
coach?
no, Ron. Do you remember Rhonda? Rhonda does meditations, and she does qigong. Qigong. How do you say that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I know what Qigong.
Yeah.
Qigong.
Anyway, we're butchering it, Rhonda. That's why you have to come on Hot Topics Live so you can tell everybody. But she also, I like whenever I have time, which is randomly and hardly ever, I like here we go. Thank you. Thank you,
Qigong.
sweetie.
Qigong.
There we go. So I like to go into her meditations, her meditation room that she has on Facebook. So if you do go in there, and it's one breath, right, Rhonda?
Mhm.
And go in there and breathe with Rhonda. It will make you feel so good.
I'm gonna write down here so I can follow her.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. She's amazing. Also, one of my students, also an incredible human being. So, yes. Yes. And it looks
I
like
will.
I actually follow George. I follow George on TikTok too. You just gotta support each other, I think.
Of course, yes. That's the way it is.
Yes. So so here we go. Thank you, Rhonda. If you want to support
Okay.
Rhonda and you like meditation and maybe you don't do so well on your own, I am a huge fan of group meditation. I just think it's so powerful, especially a
Yes.
guided meditation too.
Mm-hmm.
And it just makes me feel centered. It makes me feel calm. It makes me feel amazing. And I try to do it with Rhonda whenever I have the time and I see her live, which is usually pretty random. But yes, I definitely love it. So TikTok, follow us over there. It's at Creativity, just like Instagram. So also you can follow at Hot Topics the podcast on Instagram. I'm slowly starting to post stuff there, so it should be good to start following it soon. But put it on your radar. And then at the Female Veterans Podcast, just had its third birthday on July 10th, and I am celebrating this month. So, yeah, 3 years of the Female Veterans Podcast, and there's a lot more great episodes coming. So, yeah, a lot of great things happening. What's going on with Unbreakable Life with Glory?
Well, Unbreakable Life with Glory is gonna come in a big change for Unbreakable Life with Glory. We're gonna change the logos. We're gonna change a lot of stuff because I need to make more. I'm coming with a lot of stuff, so I need to change. I need to upgrade a lot of stuff. Like the same thing I'm upgrading my life. It needs to my podcast and my everything is coming up. It's gonna be big, so I need to be prepared. My book is already almost there. I finished writing the chapters. Now we are going through chapter by chapter to check how they are, and then they go to the process, that. And then the coaching, I'm starting to be a coach for next year, and my podcasting is growing and growing and growing. I have a lot of people wanting to be in my podcast, in my show, and Unbreakable Life with Glory. So I'm super happy for that. So, step by step, I've been working for 2 years and a half already, Kia. So it's time.
It's time level up. You have
level up. It's time to level up high.
Don't be the little kid with no
not
lock
anymore.
when the whole world is there.
We are coming big like you.
I'm getting there. I'm on a level up too, honey. I'm always about that next level. And I actually
Yes.
sort of slowed myself down this last probably several months since I had COVID. I took it easier, much easier, but things are shifting for me very quickly, and there's going to be a lot of things coming and a lot of changes coming for me as well. It's time to hit that next level. So level up with us, everybody. I
Yeah,
know.
you know, the Patty is out, and you know when Patty is out, you know what is happening.
Yeah. It's about to pop off. That's what I think is
Yes,
about to happen when Patty's out.
yes,
So, yes, Angeline, we're going to 10x all of us. Angeline's blowing up too. Like everybody,
yes.
it's we've been together, we've been connecting for a few years now. It's everyone's on a level up. And actually I feel that in my energy. I feel an energetic shift. And so I think if you're in this collective with me, get prepared.
And you know what, Kia? Once one of us goes up, all of us we go up.
That's what we always said.
Yes.
Anyway, we are at 1 hour and 14 minutes.
Yes.
So I got to
We already
wrap it up.
passed.
But I want to thank everybody for watching and supporting Hot Topics Live #podcast. And I want to remind you that you are so amazing. You are such a beautiful soul. Just believe it and look in that mirror and tell yourself how much you love yourself. Man or woman, men need to love themselves too. Okay. So give some love to yourself and then spread some love out into the world. And remember that you deserve to have and be and do anything you want that gives you joy and that gives you a happy life. You deserve that just because you exist. Thank you, Gloria, for being my
Thank you,
co-host.
Kia.
I love you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I
I
love you
love
too.
I love you guys. I'll see you next week. I'm back next week with another incredible guest. See you then.
Ciao, ciao.